The Rockets formula is working. This small ball lineup is actually working. That's been I think it's not only been a surprise to me, but a surprise to a lot of people, a lot of basketball pundits and just viewers who like to watch the NBA and cover it. This has been an experiment by Mike D'Antoni that they've done since they traded Clint Capella to the Hawks, and the part of that 4-team, 12-player trade that sent Capella to the Hawks, like I said, with the Ney and the slew of other players that got sent to different teams. And just playing, at first it was P.J. Tucker at the center, who was only 6'6". There was a lot of memes circling around the internet, like joking on that fact. But they actually traded for Robert Covington, who is actually 6'9". And thinking about it, he's actually the same height as Bam Adebayo, who's playing center for the Heat. So, although he doesn't play like a big, like Bam Adebayo does at the same height, just that height of 6'9", and as they put him at the center now, it kind of covers for like just the lack of height and like just size that they had with PJ Tucker at the center at 6'6". So I think adding Robert Covington kind of helped. It benefited that, especially after his play where he did the first game when he played against the Lakers. Like I mentioned last week on the show, he played really well. But another reason as to why this team is actually flourishing with the small ball lineup is Russell Westbrook. As you heard me mention on the show, and as you heard just throughout the league, if you watch it and see what's going on, James Harden's been having a kind of shooting slump, and that's kind of been like I wouldn't say hindering the team, but with the usual James Harden performance we're like accustomed to, with him like leading the league in points, we're accustomed to James Harden having a high volume of scoring and making a lot of shots and making a lot of shot attempts. But in recent games, we seen a slump in his numbers in terms of like his shooting stats. But this past game they played, he actually had 42 points, and actually in the third quarter he actually scored 19 consecutive points. So is this him kind of getting back into the groove of things as Russell is becoming the primary ball handler of this team, which I thought even before the season started, I thought that was the ideal thing for this team to do because Russell is a better ball hand. I wouldn't say he's a better ball handler, but he works better on the ball than James Harden works I'm not James Harden as Russell works off the ball because Russell is not as a good shooter at least in recent like seasons as James Harden is from the 3-point line, and you can use James Harden as a spot up shooter, which is not bad at all. But you can like defer to him. But with Russell being the primary ball handler and bringing the ball down the court, and with Clint Capella being gone from the team, leaving that paint wide open, creating more space for Russell, which he hasn't been used to since I would say his entire career. Because if you look at the way he was, like the pieces that he had around him in Oklahoma City, he also had a big man that was down low, whether it be Kendrick Perkins or Steven Adams or Enes Kanter. Those men play inside the paint, so it kind of like clogged it up a little bit. And yes, he would do like a little drop off pass right there in the paint. But as we see it now and the way he's playing, he's not averaging triple doubles, but he's scoring on a more efficient scale, getting points on the board and taking shots and not missing as many shots because he's attacking the rim. He's not taking as many threes. His 3-point attempts has went down in the last couple of games, I would say, since the trade and since the space, like I said, has been open for him to attack the paint. And he's playing more into his style, more into his game, which is being aggressive, attacking the paint, taking those mid-range shots, not taking as many threes. Because for some reason, I don't know what happened to him. Because Russell didn't used to be as bad from the 3-point line as he is right now. But throughout, I would say, the past 3-4 years, he has been as good from 3-point line as he used to be early on in his career. I want to say early on in his career, I should say. So we're seeing that right now. Like I said, James Harden is playing phenomenal. He played phenomenal, I should say, in the last game against the Celtics on Tuesday, where him and Russell combined for 78 points. Harden had 42 and Russ had 36. And they did lose to the Jazz on Sunday, but it was a very close game due to Bojan Bogdanovic game-winning shot that gave him the win from 114 to 113. So, like I said, James Harden has had a great game to recover from his shooting slump over the past month and a half. There's been something that was good for them in the Celtics game against the Celtics. And like I said, Russell is flourishing in the system right now. It's going well for D'Antoni. It's looking good for him to actually have this system. But I know a lot of people have been wondering how long and how well can this last up? Because if you look at it, when things like this happen and like new adjustments are made on teams and for teams, they can look good at first because a lot of teams are not accustomed or have made adjustments and figured out a way to defend different type of playing styles. Like one thing I want to reference to is when I remember when LeBron James in his last year in Cleveland when he had all his player league, when he traded away like Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, and D Wade and all of them, and he got like Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance, and a bunch of them guys, and they played Oklahoma City. And a lot of people was going around like, oh, this new team, LeBron looks happy, blah blah blah, and it turned out to be one of his worst teams because as the season progressed. After that trade, we seen him carrying more so of the load of the team, and it was more apparent during the playoffs, especially because a lot of them didn't have as much playoff experience. And we all know the famous J.R. Smith situation that happened in Game 1 of the finals against the Warriors. So we can. I don't want to put all the chips into the basket. I don't want to throw all my chips out there. I just combine the chips and the egg in the basket analogy. But I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, saying that Tony has found the perfect system for this team. Let's give it some time. They are 5-2 right now. I would say with this new system going on right now with the small ball with Rocco as center, they are 5-2. I would say give it some time before we really like make a clear judgment of this system is going to work. Because remember, I said this. Then if Tony, if they don't make it to Western Conference Final or even to the finals, because I don't think their owner is as lenient as we think that he will be, because they already went to Western Conference Finals before. They feel like they have all the pieces necessary. They made this trade for Clint Capella to be gone and went with D'Antoni's system. So they're working with him. Daryl Morey and D'Antoni kind of on the hot seat right now. And Tim Fertitta, I know his name now. I remembered it before. I just forgot when I heard the podcast the first week. Tim Fertitta, he's at the point right now where he's like, okay, I gave y'all time. I kind of like, 'cause he's a new owner for the team as well. I kind of looked around the team and see how things work, trying to get accustomed to it. Now is the time where we need to start winning, like getting these championships, because he doesn't have time to play. So Daryl Morey, especially with the tweets and the recent stuff that he did with China and Mike D'Antoni, are kind of on the hot seat. So let's say this does carry out for a good, effective regular season, which is all fine and dandy. But the Rockets have been proven throughout the past couple of years to be good regular season teams and not as productive or shown what they are projected to be in the playoffs. Especially, I wouldn't say 2 seasons ago, because they actually made the Western Conference Finals and faced a tough Warriors team. But they faced they lost that Warriors series in 2018, and a lot of people, I'll give them credit, they did lose Chris Paul, but they had a terrible, terrible, terrible shooting performance from the three that night in Game 7, which kind of hindered them. But last season, I wouldn't give them no excuse. They had Chris Paul. The Warriors didn't have Kevin Durant. And a lot of people was actually thinking this might be the Rockets' chance, and they still didn't show up and flourish. Not going to blame James Harden. James Harden played well, but the rest of the team just couldn't show up during that. So now with Russell Westbrook, who many, including myself, consider an upgrade from Chris Paul, and with this new system that Tony has put in, the hot seat is definitely there. Like, it's cooking. Like, they rising up from their seat because it's really getting hot. Because if this doesn't work out this season, there will be some moves made. Like I said earlier before, then Tony will definitely be fired. Like, he won't be not fired because his contract ends at the end of the season, but he won't get re-signed. And Daryl Morey might be fired because this approach that they're taking, they tried for so many years, and it's not getting them a championship. And they have 2 players in their prime. Maybe people could see that Russell is kind of like going out of his prime. Maybe people look at it that way. I still think he's in his prime. I think he's still playing very well and efficient. But James Harden definitely is at like a real prime for him, especially scoring wise. So it will behoove of Daryl Morey and D'Antoni to figure out and make sure this works, and hope that they can make it to the Western Conference Finals, if not the championship, so they can keep their jobs. So That's my thing on the Rockets. They're doing well right now, but like I said, as time goes on and as we see as season progresses and as teams get adjusted to their system, and like I said before, they play teams with better perimeter defense, and which they have recently, and they still showed to actually do good against those teams. But once these teams kind of get adjusted to who they are, and it's going to be harder in a 7-game series because you're facing the same team in a 7-game series, and they're going to be able to adjust and know your play style and accommodate for the way you play. So let's see how that plays out throughout the season and in the playoffs. Maybe this be a good thing for the Rockets. Maybe it won't.